Yo, you man saying what's good, Minisan Konnichiwa. Recently I've been going through some study slump and it's been going on for too long. But it's still going on. It all started around a month ago where I was speaking to my language partner who I normally speak to on a weekly basis. When we started speaking Japanese, I just couldn't get the words out. I was just dumbfounded. I understood everything he was saying to me, but I was just frozen. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. Are we lying if I said the words were even stuck in my throat? The words were on the tip of my tongue. Nothing like that. I just felt I just couldn't speak for some weird reason. I don't know what it was. You know, normally I would just trivialize it and be like, okay, cool, I flopped today. Next, you know what I mean? But I was pondering on this one for a few days, and you know, I kind of came to the conclusion that one of the things that I did earlier on my Japanese, journey was fundamentally wrong, and I actually thought it was a good thing, and that was speaking early. The level of frustration I felt during a language change, I've never had that. Never. It's almost like you see those little toddlers talking gibberish language, to their parents. They're trying to get the idea across and they just can't do it. It's like, oh, what you want? Oh, you want to sleep? Like, nah, woman, I want your boobs, I want your boobs, I want your boobs. You know what I mean? You just can't get it out. When I was thinking about all those language changes I've had with this one particular person, he's a sick guy and he's very easy to speak to, very spontaneous in terms of thinking about things. But you get those language change partners that just sit there, and they do nothing. And they just plain people, and the only thing about them is just they got language. Now this guy is sick. I like him, innit? When I was thinking about those times where I was speaking to him, and I had to come to the conclusion that my language patterns, the way in which I speak hasn't really changed that much since we started talking to each other. It's been very rudimentary and it's been very, I don't know, for lack of other words, probably textbook. I don't know, man. I look at all these other media resources, and I know I can't expect myself to speak like them. Obviously, man. That's just wishful thinking. Well, at this stage anyway. But I don't see any trajectories going towards it other than some kind of improvement in comprehension. Of course, no, actually, in fact, definitely an improvement in comprehension. What am I talking about? But in terms of the speaking thing, I've realised that it's been at a stalemate. And I reckon it is because I spoke too early. I actually, in fact, I know that's the problem. When you speak early, and I've seen people talk about this, it's very easy to get stuck in a particular way in talking. Like, just an example, the Japanese example is talking about speech, or like quoting speech. I used to always say "to imashita," "to imashita," and then when I was watching animes and I was watching all these things, I noticed that wasn't necessarily how people quote speech all the time, with a strict "to" in the middle of it. So again, that's just one trivial example, and there's a lot more. And you can very easily say, oh well, now you know, and so you don't need to commit those errors anymore. Or at least you don't need to sound robotic anymore. But the whole point is that it still feels natural to say "to imashita," and again, that's because I spoke too early and I got stuck in my ways, man. Flip's sake, bro. And I started thinking about the time when I was learning Korean, in Korea when I was teaching English. When I came back, I didn't speak Korean for quite a few months, and I was just watching some stuff, and then I noticed when I went to a language exchange, my Korean was way better than it was when I was in Korea. And I reckon that period of silence really helped. And I've forgotten a lot of Korean now, but even when I go back and I listen to it, I understand the sizable amount. And so I kind of feel as if this is similar situation with my Japanese, where I just need to just stop speaking and just listen a lot, or at least. And I was thinking, I don't know if it's a good idea just to speak English to my Japanese language partner, and he'll speak to me Japanese. And again, I don't know if that's that's like a perverted kind of language exchange, or at least it can be like, is that going to have a perverted effect on my language? I don't know, but the whole point is that me speaking for now is just going to be a no-no. Now, and that sounds super deflated when I talk about this kind of thing, but that's not necessarily the case. It's like, what's a good analogy? I mean, I don't know. It's like having this fake wall of confidence around you, like you're like the class bully. And then you go around picking on someone, and next thing you know, you pick a little fat kid, and the fat kid beats you up, and then now you're just scared of every single little fat kid, or you're scared of everyone, actually, you know what I mean? But that's not the case. It's just more so realizing, from now anyway, that my language level isn't at a place where I should be speaking. I definitely shouldn't be speaking about these abstract topics and whatnot. And I shouldn't really care about the fact that it's been a year since I started Japanese. It's okay just to continue listening and just absorb stuff and then speak. It's more so just facing the facts, and I feel good about it. You know what I mean? I feel good about it. It's slightly sour. It is slightly sour, but it's all good, isn't it? At that point of feeling sour and thinking about the language exchange that I had, I started to also dip into this mindset of, like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of learning Japanese? Like, oh, what, you're gonna go drink sake with a salary band, yeah? You don't even drink. Like, oh, you're gonna go drive a you know, skyline in Tokyo, you don't even drive, you ain't got a license, bruv. You know what I mean? I started to just, you know, just trivialize everything and just trivialize the entire process and the idea of language learning. But you know, that was short-lived though, innit? That was short-lived, yeah. But that was also another barrier to me learning, or at least studying anyway. I was like, bro, flip this, man. Just give me biscuits, man. You know, I also allowed other artificial barriers to stop me from studying. You know, for example, you know, work got a bit hectic, and I was like, you know, when work goes down, you know, I'm gonna start singing again. That's something I don't normally say. And you know, brother, I'm not lying, yeah. I hurt my toe playing basketball, and I was like, oh, I can't run. You know, if I can't run, then it's gonna ruin my routine. If it ruins my routine, I can't do languages, bro. You know what? As soon as my toe heals up, that's when I'm gonna start studying. You know, I started dragging stuff out of the air just to stop me from studying for just out of reasons of inertia. And just that slight sourness and frustration that I felt. And, you know, there are legitimate barriers, or I should say costs, to the whole process. And one of them is I've become more bored with the idea of studying and just going over glossy cards and going over that Genki book. And you know, I haven't got a plan. I ain't got a plan. I'm making this video with no plan ahead of how am I going to address the cognitive dissonance that I have, or the language slump that I have. But, you know, I know I'm going to do something about it. Maybe that's cognitive dissonance as well, but I ain't going to lie to you, yeah. We'll see. And you know, I do know that motivation should never be the foundation to action. It should never be. It should always be, you know, consistency and principles or whatever. But at the same time, man, you can't just be. It needs to have some flavor to it as well, man. Again, I'm struggling to even find the words here to pinpoint exactly what I'm trying to say, because you know that's the state that I have, like, mentally. And it is what it is. But you know, my spirit's still high. And you know, I still am watching stuff in Japanese 100%, and that as a default is helping. You know, it hasn't all been doom and gloom as well. You know, I was listening to a Japanese conversation on YouTube while I was playing basketball, so I wasn't even giving it my fullest attention. I understood everything. And you know, that for me was like a massive morale booster. And so, you know, I'm not just sitting there, you know, with my crunchy nut and biscuits, you know, bro. I've been eating bare biscuits, bro. The biscuits are getting eaten in this house, bro. Bourbons, yeah. I had some next mad ones with a French name. I didn't know what it was, yeah. I had truffles, fam. I was going mad. And, you know, like I said, I ain't got a plan going forward of how I'm gonna address this. But the main thing is that, you know, I'm at a point now where, you know, I've admitted to myself that this isn't sustainable. It's almost like, you know, those guys in the A&A meetings, they stand up, you know, my name's Akram, I'm an alcoholic. You know, the first step is just admitting it, at least, yeah? You know, bro, again, like I said, 2 weeks ago, if I told myself, you know, Akram, you're not studying, you need to do something about this. Like, bro, what are you talking about? I would have biscuits in one hand, yeah? And be like, what are you talking about, bro? Look at my toe, bro. Look at my toe, I can't study, bro. I can't study, look at my toe. I would have just, like I said, pulling, you know, excuses out of the air and just been using them. But, you know, that's not the case now, so, and, you know, so change will definitely be coming to address this language slump. And, you know, I still make a 5-minute Japanese video here and there, but generally speaking, silence. And so until then, arigatou gozaimashita.